My name is Nassim Sabs.
Let me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? That made you feel sort of foolish when you tried to tell somebody about it? Well, if it has, you have plenty of company, as you'll soon see.
Cannot swords be turned to plowshares? Can we and all nations not live in peace? In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
Whether or not Ronald Reagan understood the magnitude of the invasion that he referred to in his famous speech to the United Nations in the 1980s is today just an academic question. But for sure, what we've just witnessed is very difficult for the human mind to understand. But what do I think? What do I believe? I believe we have looked into the realm of the dark stars, the fallen angels, as mentioned in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, a realm that has insinuated itself into every fabric and thread of human life, into our economics, our religions, our political realm, education, and even science. A good example of that is in the emerging field of transhumanism. But I think the Apostle Paul had it right some 2,000 years ago when he wrote to the people in Asia Minor and said, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against spiritual wickedness in high places, against the rulers of this age." I'm Ken Klein. We've come across the country to Pennsylvania, to the home of Allison Cruz, which subsequently led her mother, Allison, into some astounding discoveries. We're sitting here with Allie Cruz in her home, and she's done remarkable research into these strange anomalies that we're seeing all over the world, all over the United States. And so we've flown out here to Pittsburgh to have a chance to chat with her and discuss some of the work that she's so graciously shared with us. Allie, thank you for having us in your home. I really appreciate it. You have a lovely home. Why don't you take us outside and let's look at this place in the daylight, and maybe you can point out some of the things they do, and then we'll come back tonight and we'll film.
And I just want to stress that this is not the only patch, and I've discovered by driving around that it's just all around this area.
Well, Allie, we're looking out over the, I guess you call it the little valley here. It's loaded with trees. And why don't you explain to us where you tend to see these things manifest?
Well, the majority of the places that they like the most, they like this area down at the end there. There's no homes there. It's just woods. There's a big empty field. It's supposed to be the back nine of a golf course that never got finished. And the hills beyond that, it's mostly wooded. They like that hill.
In fact, what interested me about your work was something I saw on YouTube, where I saw some light form down in that valley down below there, begin to rise up in front of the trees. It kept going up and up and up, and when it got to the tree, I started seeing blinking lights, and then it seemed like it turned into an airplane to me. Yeah. And I'm hopeful that you can fish that picture out for me so that we can share with the people how these things are like chameleons. They actually pretend that there's something they're not. To tell us about the orbs, we haven't talked much about the orbs. I've seen them down in New Orleans. I've seen them in Lafayette. Tell us about these orbs that you're filming almost continuously every night.
Well, they've increased in number. What the ending craft type objects, the bright balls of light that hover in the sky for a long time, those have increased in number not only here but around the world. Downtown Moscow, that kid's filming them. A lot of times they're coming out of a park where there's woods there. They're probably hiding in there. He's confirmed that they start out as these little bubble-sized things also there. I can give you his phone number if you want it.
Yeah, I want to contact him because you're in touch with a lot of people around the world that are reporting on this.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that there's been an increase in these orbs.
Yeah.
And it's a tough question I'm going to ask you. Well, what do you think they are?
I'm not sure if they're the entity itself. A lot of people want to know, what kind of aliens or whatever that they are, and I don't know until I see them. Now, these little thin, clear bubbles, maybe that's a travel container, maybe they're inside that, maybe that's a remotely controlled probe of some sort. Maybe there's no living thing in there. Maybe they have a mothership up top.
It's like a robotic
it might be a
probe
little,
or something.
Yeah, they might be able to, see everything and direct these things around without any danger. I don't know. Stopping right by a cell tower. I swear they're sucking something off of there. Or they're eavesdropping on our conversations or something. I don't know. You have to keep moving when they're in the woods to, try to clear it. Yeah, look, see, he's in there moving in the trees. He's probably going towards that other dot in the middle of that, on the right side, that lower dot. I bet you it's another one that's parked. I never saw any type of house light or tower light ever showing through that. In fact,
But on the flip side, we are just seeing a lot of unidentified objects, unidentified flying objects, like that one object in Manchester Airport. And we're seeing all these orbs, and we're constantly hearing the government talk about UFOs and aliens. They're constantly having these hearings. There has never been a time in history that they have been this open about the subject of UFOs and aliens and talking about them. Because it's so rampant, the whistleblowers, the government, the photos, the videos, it really makes me believe that something is coming. Whether this something is manufactured in the lab, Project Bluebeam style, or something really has crossed over, something's really coming either from the waters or from inside the earth. No matter where it's coming from, something big is coming. What may or may not be coming December 3rd just might very well be the start of Project Bluebeam. Now, I know you all hate hearing about the fall stage alien invasion, but you have to remember the powers that be have a deadline. They have a 2030 agenda deadline. The United Nations and the World Economic Forum, they met in September to speed up the process of the 2030 agenda that is still on the table. This one world government, this one world religion, the one world policy. Think about it. Really think about it. There are entities. I really do think there are entities that do exist. Whether they come from another dimension, they come from within the waters or within the earth. Again, hollow earth theory. They have to have been here for thousands of years. But the closer we get to the 2030 agenda, suddenly we have hostile entities that want to attack us. Look at the timing. Look at the timing of everything going on. We have all these conflicts between these countries, and we have the World Economic Forum pushing the 2030 agenda. And the 2030 agenda can only work if all these countries, all these people, all these governments are united. Well, how are they going to unite all these countries and these governments that are currently hostile with one another? Well, like Ronald Reagan said, you create a common enemy from outside this world. And suddenly, all these countries will put their differences aside and unite. Now look, I really hate being a bubble burster, and we really want to believe the government when they tell us that UFOs and entities do exist. But you really have to use caution here, exercise caution, and look at the bigger picture of everything that is currently going on and everything that is to come. But with the ramp up of things being seen and things being spoken about, something is definitely coming.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order, because the global order is changing again. And the institutions and rules that worked so well in the post-World War II era for decades, they need to be strengthened, and some have to be changed.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There's a need for a new world order, but it has different characteristics in different parts of the world.
Never before has a new world order had to be assembled from so many different perceptions or on so global a scale. Nor has any previous order had to combine the attributes of the historic balance of power system with global democratic opinion and the exploding technology of the contemporary period.
After 1989, President Bush said, and it's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future.
So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, a new world is emerging. It is a new world order with significantly different and radically new challenges.
And the hope that each of us has to build a new world order.
And I strongly believe India will be a central actor in the new world order.
So they don't understand that it's not a vehicle. You know, the ones that are actually vehicles, meaning they're not devils, they're not devils that make themselves look like that. The ones that are actually real vehicles, they don't have like moving parts on them, you know. Like the ones that are actually literal spaceships, like literal technology, like they don't have like moving pieces to them, okay? The ones that are devils that just make themselves look to be like a spaceship, the skin of the devil, okay, because that's the fucking devil, the skin of it morphs, okay? The skin of it morphs, and it has morphing skin. So the skin of the devil that makes itself look like a spaceship morphs and changes its shape, okay, including the lights that it has. These things are not like friendly things, like, oh, E.T. Go Home by Steven Spielberg. No, these things will freaking kill you.